Welcome, everyone, to the Area 111 live stream. This is your host, RH. I was trying to get in live by 11 p.m. Uh, that special day, the 11th month and 11th day. I think y'all may know what I'm referring to, but I think you're not going to be disappointed for those that are following the precious metals or silver mainly. Uh, there's a lot of us that have um, opinions. Let's just say this is my opinion. These are my opinions based on a lot of factors involved. So tonight's live stream is going to be based mainly on silver, sky's the limit, and new info regarding factors. And these are major factors. Now, you don't have to basically figure out a quadratic equation or something like that to figure this out. It's not that hard to understand. And it's not too hard to understand how COMEX is basically manipulating the prices. And if you see the prices below $80 an ounce now, in my opinion, it's to position to buy out those paper silver contracts, and they got to like March. They might try to, I don't know if they can buy them out earlier, but if a contract comes due basically on the futures or whatever you call them, they may be able to get out of them quicker. But there's going to be some people demanding the physical silver, and they don't, as far as my understanding, COMEX does not have enough inventory of physical silver to basically meet the paper demands. So I lost a couple of people already, and I haven't even gotten into the information that basically will substantiate silver sky's the limit. So the opening is going to be lower, and I do believe, in my opinion, there's going to be a whole lot of counter orders and purchases, and the supply has weakened. The supply basis the demand has weakened. So I'm going to get over here and turn down this volume in the background. So there's other things I can also talk about and add to this list. But I'm going to get into this, and a lot of important information that I picked up viewing a lot of different sources. I can't list them all because there's so many. I've listened to them before on this live stream, but I'm just going to get into this. Hey, Daniel, good to see you here. Yeah, good to see you. Happy Monday. It's Monday evening. I guess there's some type of fire eclipse or something supposed to be happening. That's visible, I think, in around Antarctica. I'm not sure about that, but it's probably going to be some photographers catching some really cool shots with that. If that's true, I think, I don't know why she would say it was true if it wasn't. So basically, she does a lot of reviewing too as well. But anyways, yeah, let's get into it. I'm going to get over to YouTube. So it says 0 viewers. Yeah, that's not a shock. That's not a shock. And all the manipulation, and I'm going to break this down a little bit for people to understand why the pressure for as far as silver to skyrocket like a rocket heading up into the sky, right? way up in the sky. And this is my opinion. So if it doesn't happen and you go in there and you maybe invest in a precious metal that's basically been underrated for so many years, it's ridiculous. And I understand why it's so it's basically underrated. I understand the manipulation because you're talking about huge global corporations needing the silver and solar panels and you know chips, cell phones, computers, military weapons, technology, AI, data centers, and all these data centers going up all over the place. Uh, uh, a new Bitcoin data center, thanks to, far as I understand, Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump. Looks like they're going into a joint venture to basically build a data center for a third party confirmation of transactions and getting fees. And man, I tell you what, if there's a company ticker and they go public, you might want to jump on that one. You might want to jump on it because it's a sure deal. They get a fee for the transaction, kind of like let's see, like a wire transfer, but this is something that could happen in a matter of seconds or fraction of a second to confirm a certain purchase or whatever or order. Okay, the money's there on both sides, and the product's there on the other side. The money's there on that side, and we confirm that the fee is let's see, $10 trillion. The first fee, $10 trillion. Okay, of course, I'm exaggerating there. So, kind of dismiss my humor if you're kind of like a really serious, get to the business type of guy or gal. So this might not be the channel for you. You know what I mean? If you're that serious, let me just say this for all these people. Oh, I told people back last year to buy silver. I told people back last year it was only $16 an ounce or whatever, Well, let's see. I was telling a certain sibling of mine back in, let's see, 15, 16 years ago, you might want to go buy some of this stuff. And that's before it hit like 50. You know what I mean? But what have I said on previous live streams? At least one live stream that I remember. We have to get our survival needs into order. We have to have our survival needs already in place before you think about, in my opinion, going out and buy gold at like $5,000 an ounce or more. Some people talking about $20,000 an ounce. And I think I know, I've heard that rumor before. I heard that a lot further back than just a couple days ago. I heard that rumor, and hey, it could be true. And the strategy behind it, I know what the strategy is behind it. But especially if we have the inventory, they're actually in our vaults and safekeeping a certain amount, that's a highly kept secret. I mean, that secret would probably be above top secret, above top secret, right? At a level a lot higher clearance needed than what RH has. Although when I retired from active duty, I kept my security classification, whatever. Security, golly, what I can't even think of what security clearance. My security clearance never was revoked. Okay, downgraded, whatever. And that's all I'll say about that. Okay, so what have we been dealing with? Why is silver such an underdog? Well, in my opinion, silver is worth about 5 times less than gold. An ounce of silver, in my opinion, is about 5 times less than gold. And the reason why they're got the ratio up around 62, whatever, to far as gold, 62 to 1 ounce of, or 62.5. I think that's so. It looks like they're already trying to take down this channel, and I understand why. I understand why. So remember, they're basically all in and trying to get rid of our president. We're talking about Donald John Trump. That's our president, whether you like him or you not. You don't like it, lump it. You know that old saying? You don't like it, lump it. I don't know. Lump what? Lump. You don't like it, lump it. Dudes or dudettes out there. It's kind of ridiculous. Let me just say a few words about this stuff coming out. This brand new information about you know some type of prostitution deal going on in Colombia involving the U.S. Secret Service. Have we forgotten? I mean, I remember when that came out right away. There were certain members of the U.S. Secret Service that was in a gentleman's club, let's say gentleman's club, and having a few too many drinks, right? And they got reprimanded. Some of them got kicked out, and they made all of that. See, they flooded the zone with that information because the mainstream media that's what they're all about. And they just basically flooded the zone over the more important information, which includes R blank P blank. Okay. I won't go any further. The cover up of an individual that was White House counsel jockeying for the position of, remember when Barry's wingman basically got censored and he had to basically say bye-bye? Eric Holder, remember? Remember Eric Holder's wingman? Remember Eric Holder, the wingman of Barack Obama, when they founded National Democratic Redistricting Committee organization? How do you think when those people, they got to the holding centers like in Panama, how do you think they knew which way to basically bus them to or fly them to? Well, they had a need. They had a need like all the need for silver. It's a need for silver. If you're in the building solar panels, if you're in building batteries, and those batteries are going to require a little bit more. Okay, in my opinion, okay, defense technology needs chips, semiconductor chips, that kind of thing, circuits, satellites, telescopes. I mean, there's so many different things they need silver for. It's ridiculous. And I hear some people, well, they can replace it with another metal out there. Well, do you think these greedy corporations that are only interested in profit and not interested in even their own people and the conditions in the mines in certain places? I'm not talking about American mines. Okay, I'm going to get into this, and believe me, I think you'll be shocked if you've been following this. So, anyways, yes, U.S. Secret Service, they got basically a rule, a law, as you will, a law that you can't go out there and have alcohol before a certain, alcoholic beverages. Was it 8 hours before your shift? Something to that effect. So these guys were partying it up in let's just say this. This is rated G, a strip club or clubs plural. And they got reprimanded for it. I think some of them got fired. I'm not sure. And yeah, a strip club. That's a place you can go to in Columbia that's legal to go to. I mean, oh my God, they went to a strip club, a gentleman's club? Yes. Yes, they did. And they had a little bit too much to drink. They were partying up a little bit too hard, right? And some of that activity basically got diverted to a certain type of hotel and a certain type of individual. Okay. And so y'all didn't expect to hear that here on RH's channel. So, you know, um, it's up there in my vault. I have it up there in my vault. I know these stupid games they play, right? So they flooded the zone with that, right? Oh, made a big deal. They paid off, got the political action group in there. Those, what do you call it? Highly, highly, highly compartmentalized. Hey, we're going to have to feed our mainstream media buddies with the the flood. We want them to basically publish this and publish that, and we want you to basically cover up something else. And that's exactly what they did. Exactly what they did. Isn't that right, Dan B? Isn't that right, Dan? Of course, Dan knows all about it. He don't know me from Adam. He wouldn't want to know. I'm just another Joe Smo out there. I don't know what I'm talking about, right? Just another Joe Smo. So you have all the, whatchamacallit, major contributor, as the story goes so far, a major contributor to BHO, major funder, donor, contributor, however you want to describe it, major. And she didn't get there a colder spot. So let's get back to the real stuff. So this is the real thing. If you already taken care of all your survivor needs, I mean, you got your food locker set up, and you got at least about 5 months worth of food to basically help out your family and help your neighbors out. Don't forget your neighbors. Now, if you don't have the facility to basically hold long life food, we're talking food that lasts like 25 years or whatever, why don't you go donate to a church that does have a food locker? Okay? I know a church only a couple of miles away, just like 2 miles away from where I live. You could drive up in the car, and they'll go out there, the people working at the church, working the food locker at the church, they'll come up to your door, they'll ask you how many people you have in a family. They'll go get the food. They'll pack it in your car, your trunk, wherever you got to go, and see you. God bless you. God bless you too, man. I'm so happy. What? You don't have to have a voter ID card for that, but you have to have a voter ID card. We need to know who you are. You're not voting. You're just going there because you're down on, on your luck or whatever. Some people say down on your luck, and you don't even have enough money to make your rent payment, let alone buy your food. So you scrounge and try to stay in your home, and you pay your rent, but you don't have any food in the refrigerator or whatever, or your pantry. So you just drive down to a church 2 miles for where RH is talking about. You say, okay, I got 10 people in my family. Well, that's a pretty big family, man. You're blessed. Okay, wait a minute. Bring out all the food. Now, I don't know. They might ask a few questions. Now, I wouldn't get ridiculous with this. I got 30 people in my house. So they're probably going to, I don't know. They may not say a word. I don't know. I never had to use it. But if you make promises to a certain type of organization, even if it's just in your mind and you haven't articulated out in public, do it. Do it when you can. I'm talking about helping these organizations. Okay, so no, if you think about it, if you don't have a car, even if you don't have a car, say you got a bicycle and you ride your bicycle down, and we're a young family, I don't have a car, I ride my bike to work, and this is where my means of transportation. Get your backpack, ride your bike down there, get you some food. Nobody I was going to say Florida, nobody in the United States should be allowing their kids to go hungry at night. Okay. Now, as far as water goes, I remember when I was a little kid, I don't recommend it, but if you can afford filtered drinking water, I basically recommend that over that water out of a hose. But I'm pretty sure if somebody want to come up to my front yard and say, "Hey, can I fill a couple of these containers up with water?" I go, "Yeah, sure you can. Sure you can." I'd say, okay, let the water run a little bit, before you start putting it in your jugs. Thank you. Oh, thank you, sir. Okay. That's the same water that comes out of your tap. All right. So let's get to the real business. Now, what's going on here? Zero viewers. Zero viewers. Zero viewers. No spoofing here. No spoofing allowed. Okay? Put out this ridiculous amount on order, right? Well, I'm ordering all this, and basically pull the plug. I'm going to buy 16 trillion ounces of silver at $73. There's a big order. Oh, we're gonna play what do you call it? Musical chairs here. Okay, I'm gonna cut that order. I'm gonna go buy at 70. I'm gonna get $20 trillion, $20 trillion, 20 trillion ounces of silver at 70. Oh, I'm gonna do you better and pull the order. Catch people on that. You hook some people, right? Oh my gosh, the price is going down that low. Oh my God, I better sell. Oh my gosh, I better sell before they get that order in, or I'm going to be on the hook for $121. What I bought it at just a few weeks ago. Oh my gosh. Oh my God, this can't happen to me, RH. RH, you can't let this happen to yourself. RH. You got RH talking to himself. Oh my gosh. Remember, make sure you have all your survivor needs in check. Means you have everything. Check. Survival need. Food. Check. Water. Check. Okay. Water filter. Check. Shelter. Check. Clothing. Check. Food, shelter, clothing, and let's see. Everybody knows they have to go and peepers, So you got to have a place for that, right? It's ridiculous. Go check out Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You got survival needs, you got belonging needs, and you have self-actualization, accusation, whatever. Why can't I say that? Self-actualization, something to that. I could care less about. But look at the changes they made in that pyramid. It's ridiculous. Well, I'm a scholar at Berkeley. This wording doesn't seem right. Liquid extractions, you know, is so ridiculous. It's unbelievable. And listen to all this. Listen, entertainment tonight. Listen to all this. Listen how RH is trying to entertain people. And you don't want to hear some sales pitch. I don't want to hear no. I'm not giving anybody a sales pitch. You can spend whatever money you want. You can actually find that establishment in Columbia if you want to. Figure out how much it costs for you to get there, right? And go have you some fun. I recommend. I'm not your financial advisor, but if you get a lot of fun and action, whatever, with some whatever. I mean, I'm not telling you to go do it, but maybe maybe a investigative journalist on your own. I'm going to find out what's going on this story here. Okay, remember to check the strip club info and do it. Just do a simple Google search. Go to AI. It probably won't be there because guess who sets the algorithms? Remember when Obama went to Silicon Valley and basically based on the major topic and strategizing with algorithms? Remember his net neutrality stuff and all that BS? You know what it was? That it's just creating a super party, a super political party in every state to take over the United States. We should be saying overthrowing the United States of America and our Constitution, which is basically our Constitution, our country was founded on. Going even back to upending Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution during Biden's third term. We know who's running the show. Benny called it a cadabra. Okay. That's kind of funny. Benny over there. Yeah, I'm giving you some, what do you call that? A shout out here. Shout out to Benny. Benny, you've got to work on your hairdo though, man. Excuse me. Ask your wife first. That's just you need to work on your tough man. Look, work on your tough man look, Benny. Benny and the Jets. Woo, woo. I'm gonna have a little bit of fun tonight, and I had my drink from my doctor. I'm still drinking. That's why I'm probably sounding giddy or something like that. It says DRPEPPER. Prepper? No, there's not an R. I was going to say Dr. Prepper 23. It's making me kind of giddy. This is giving me flashbacks back to my teenage, like high school days. That's all I think I lived on. Dr. Pepper and Doritos. You know, that was my enjoyment, my refreshment. DR Pepper. I don't know what the 23 is. I can't read it. No, I don't want to get my magnifying glass out. Well, I know one thing. I'm having to trade something for my refreshment, my choice of refreshment tonight. It looks like I'm gonna have to trade some sleep because it's got a lot of caffeine in it. And it's not good for our age to drink too much caffeine because you got a problem with snoozing. Okay. Snoozing like I used to do in the classroom sometimes. Yeah, it's rough. It was rough back in those days, I have to admit. Helping my parents run a paper route, getting up at like 0300 in the morning, helping to wrap papers and load them up and toss them. Oh, that was a rough job. There's another job too I had to do. Well, I won't talk about it. Helping someone close and getting home around 2 o'clock in the morning. Where's the little violin? Little violin made me stronger than I ever was. I feel stronger than I've ever been. Am I stuck on Benny and the Jets? Or Benny? Benny don't know me from any. He's a major contributor. Look, I got one viewer. One viewer. That's how hard they're throttling back this this channel. One viewer. For the majority of the tonight's live stream entertainment that y'all are getting for free. One person on Rumble. Let me go to YouTube on my display. YouTube, I'm showing just one person as well. Had like 510 followers, and they had one of those bots. Okay, he's getting where he's going to be monetized. Let's take him back a few notches so he can't be monetized, right? What a stupid game. What a stupid game. Take over the monopoly. What do you gotta do? Pay the what do you call the old guard to get your position in social media and get all these fake bot subscribers and don't really have to do anything. So anyways, let's get into this here. There's some really important information. So if you're interested, now let me go look at the price right now. I'm going to go check the current price. Remember, Eastern Asia, they basically, I think they're up before us. So, yeah, they got me right at 500 subs. So if there's one little thing they don't like, and I call them out on something, they don't like exposure, even though they self-expose all the time, you know, especially these people in these subcommittees like judicial ranking member, U.S. Congress, Jamie Raskin. Oh my God, that guy makes me whatever. I'll just refrain from what I'm going to say. The guy's a liar. Pretty much every time he opens his mouth, the guy lies. Donald Trump was 1,000 times over 1,000 times, and I don't know who said that. One of the idiots. You know, it's nothing ever about the American people, right? It's always about their position. Always attacking the president. There's a lot of money in attacking the president, I noticed. You know, trillions of dollars at stake for a lot of these countries, especially the EU as a whole. Why do we think they created the EU? To be the economic opponents of the United States of America. They did so they can basically economically compete against our economy. That's the reason why they created the EU. I was over there like 17 years and 9 months stationed overseas. I know these people. I know how they talk. They look down on Americans. They think we're all stupid, and we're their basically subjects. Like this is like 400 years ago, and their kings still reign, and whatever. You know what I mean? That's how they look on us. Look at us. I had a band on my helmet, when we were basically doing exercises, and we had to don our helmet, put on our gear, whatever. And it says US on it with reflective like tape. And this one wise guy comes up to me and goes, "Oh, that stands for unserviceable." Oh, really? Unserviceable. Unserviceable. Well, I let the guy have his fun, and his boss came up and said, "You boys settle down over there. You men settle down," whatever he said. He's very, very polite guy. He was a very respectful guy. I mean, a 2-star general. Normally, for a 2-star general, I was going to say cracks out, speaks. It's going to be, "Get your butts out of your head out of your whatever. Stop, whatever." You know what I mean? If they have something to say, they're strictly business, and they ain't no fun and games in these generals I served with. But anyways, and it was really kind of irked me back then too. Guys in the Royal Air Force, and he didn't respect his country the way he wore his uniform. That's one thing. You dress like that and you're upper level management position, you're going to get caught on it. You don't want to look like some slouch, that just rolled up out of bed or just came from Columbia, that strip club, you're half tanked, whatever, and show up to work, look like you just got your high. We had your dryer on the wrinkle mode, right? You had your dryer on the wrinkle mode. This guy's copping jokes at me, right? But anyways, that's fine. But he had his fun. He had his 2 seconds of fame. His other partners thought that was funny. No, actually, nobody else spoke up. He was the only one that spoke up. Like, what the heck? Why you talking to me, dude? I don't even know you, dude. Get away from me. Is there something? Maybe you need to go to the other bar, and that's not, there's not the attributes that I would be basically a young man, not married or nothing. That's not some of the attributes in that kind of a scene is not what I'd be looking for. But don't ask, don't tell. It's up to you, dude. You're free. You're free. You in your wrinkled up uniform. But whatever. I shouldn't say that. Not all of them were like that. Can't stereotype a whole country of people. I have a lot of friends I made over there. Really good people. So now we're going to get into this a little bit more serious. Now, they've been throttling back. Now, who's they? Okay, the lobbyists, these corporations. Let me get out my outline here for today's briefing, for tonight's sit rep. Now that I have one viewer on YouTube. Now, the lobbyist for these corporations, right? These metals corporations that own these mines, they have lobbyists, And what they're probably going to do right now is, because of the demand, they're going to basically, what our lobbyist is trying to do, should be trying to do, is basically setting a foundation so other adversarial type countries doesn't come in and drop their, what do you call those, below standard class type metals. Remember how they're dropping their steel and putting our steel, U.S. steel, out of business? Remember that? They're basically flooding our country with a bunch of cheap, what do you call it, subclass caliber quality type steel, and they're flooding our country with that crap, and people were buying that, and probably may have caused something like, you know, building structure basically being breached, all kinds of stuff, and you wouldn't know if it happened until a certain type of uh, um, um, type of disaster, a certain type of strength of disaster, whatever, hit that building and basically compromised the structure of that building. So yeah, and I heard this, and I don't know if it's true. A certain country in, let's say, Southeast Asia, they caught these vendors with over 60 tons of counterfeit silver. They basically got these 1,000 ounce, the size of 1,000 ounce bar, right? And the inside of the bar was basically lead or iron, and they weighed it to enough where that was the inner core, and the outer core was basically plated with silver, thick enough that the test that they have to basically check the if it was 0.999, like it was stamped on the bar, very professional, official looking, right? That's what these vendors were selling. And all they were basically selling is a 1,000 ounce bar made of like 90%, 90%, if not more, of iron or lead. So that's 60 tons. 60 tons, 60 times 2,000 is 120,000 pounds. 120,000 pounds of counterfeit silver. Now, that's why you got to be very careful who you buy silver bars from. Now, if you're stacking whatever, in my opinion, if you're going in there long, you don't really want to have to worry about, buying silver coins. If that's your thing, hey, fine, go buy you some Silver Eagles, whatever, you know, or whatever you like. Make sure they're made in America. They got that stamp on them in America. And there's some bars that have actually you have to shine a light up to them, and there's a certain type of hologram or whatever that will come out or whatever, and you can see that it's been minted at this certain mint, and it's the U.S. mint. It's not some other country out there. Remember, they are suppressing the exports of their silver, and the lobbyists now for silver. See, the lobbyists out there for silver were trying to basically keep the silver price. These corporations that need the silver for their missile defense, or for military equipment or weapons or whatever, or military technology. So those are the guys that's like one of the top tier lobbyists for the DoD, right? We need to get this silver down to a certain level, right? But what is it? What has it done in a long time? Right now, we can't even find out. It's classified. We can't even find out the amount of silver that the DoD or the Department of Defense needs every year. So we can't even put that in an equation as far as the supply versus the demand. And especially when you get to our supply versus demand versus the other country's supply versus demand. So let me so why is silver why am I saying why is RH saying silver is the sky's the limit? Well, supply versus demand. That's economics 101. Everybody knows if you got a lesser amount of supply, that those that demand buying it, you're basically what you're going to do is you're going to auction it off to the highest bidder, right? Going to go, no, 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 this is what we want. And some people might come out right out of the gate if they got a huge position of silver and it's like 0.999, like in 1,000-ounce bars, you know, 0.999 is important because you need 0.999 to make sterling silver, which ends up being 925, right? Not 0.999 is 0.925 of silver, bases the other content that's in the silver. But okay, and I'm not trying to sell anybody anything. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm basically stating my opinions. It's a strategic metal that we need. And right now, the last I checked, let me see here. I'll check again. Oh, I don't know. I think I might, if I open up another app, I could get in trouble with that. Okay, I think the last time I checked, it was $80 an ounce of silver, as far as the ratio of $5,000 an ounce for gold. That ratio is like 62.5. 62.5% ratio gold over silver. 62.5% ratio of the cost of gold to silver, which is at $80 an ounce when I checked that last time. I'm pretty sure that's it. 62.5. Just round it off to 60. In my opinion, right now, silver should be the ratio of gold to silver rate should be 5-1. 5-1. And I'm going to hear people, well, silver, it tarnishes and everything. And, it's not as good as metal. Hey, if that's what you believe and that's what you personally like, that's fine. But that doesn't stop the demand of silver. Now, do you think if silver lost its conductivity due to, what do you call that? Corroding, whatever, or turning black or whatever, it hasn't lost its demand. So they must be using this stuff where, okay, there's not moisture involved, it's not exposed to elements, or it doesn't matter if they tarnish, right? Tarnish, that's the word I was looking for. It doesn't matter if it tarnishes. So, anyways, they still order it. Now, if it wasn't the best metal for the application that they're using it for, right? What they're applying it to for, why would there be all this demand? Okay, there's a really, really big factor that I'm talking about. I'm going to go in and talk about now. I mean, I can't go through all of one of the main deals is that it's going to need a whole lot of silver is the new new AI data centers. And those things are going up a lot quicker than we realize. So a lot of these companies already bought in the silver that they need for their own supply. And I hope we're doing the same. Our companies are, but the supply, let me see. I had the deficit far as what's on supply, silver supply, global supply versus there's been an 80 from my understanding, $80 million deficit a year for the last 5 years. 80 million ounce deficit. Now I wrote down 180, and I think that's a mistake. I think there's the overall deficit as far as the demand for silver that is on supply, world supply, is 80 million ounces a year for the last 5 years. So somebody do the math. 80 times 5, right? Was that 400 million ounces? 400 million ounces, right? 80 times 5. $400 million, a 400 million ounce deficit in silver as far as globally. What the global demand is for silver for all those applications that I'm talking about. Electric batteries, industrial purposes, chips, computers, AI centers, the military applications like technology, high technology, their computer systems, and we're talking about everything. Fighter jets, missiles, self-guiding missiles, all kinds of stuff, right? So, anyways, now you compile this to the fact that the single largest silver production mine just shut down. I want y'all to listen to this really close. The single largest silver production or producing mine just shut down. Well, what are you talking about, RH? Yeah. The single largest silver producing mine in the entire world just shut down. And which mine do you believe that is, RH? Which mine do I know it is? You have to go out there and do your own research to find this out. It's a Penasquito. That's Penasquito mine in Zacatecas, Texas, Mexico. Zacatecas, Mexico. That's Zacatecas, of course, Mexico. Okay. The single largest silver production mine in the world, owned and operated by Newmont, the largest gold mining company in the world. Okay. And why, RH? Why did that mine shut down? Because of 1, severe drought. 2, union demands, labor disputes, low pay. They're basically fighting to get 25% pay raise, basically, and unsafe conditions. So there's people over there in Mexico working in that mine while it was still open, basically, that is too dangerous. The risk is not worth the reward. It's kind of like flipping a coin. Okay, something going to cave in this day or whatever. I don't know if it's that bad, but there's a lot of concerns where they shut that mine down. Could you imagine the lawsuit if that mine basically collapsed, one of those shafts or whatever tunnels in that mine collapsed after the union already basically came out and far as discovery and proved that those miners are working in unsafe conditions. So yeah, so they did that basically for their own protection until everything is cleared up. As far as I understand, is in the process of a smelting or whatever they do to basically extract the silver out of the ore, from the ore that has also like what do you call it, copper and zinc and probably other metals as well, probably iron, I don't know. But the process of smelting is to extract out of that ore silver, and they need water, and the mine needs water to operate far as those processes go. Far as the drought goes, they don't have enough. They had to shut down the water pipes going into the mine because they needed water for their people, their agriculture, and for their people to drink. And that became a priority over the mine. So how many people have heard this, by the way? And they all know it. They all know it. Okay? That's not the only. And in Peru, now that was in Mexico, right? That's the Penasquito mine in Zacatecas, Mexico. Okay, owned and operated by Newmont, Newmont, the largest gold mining company in the world. Okay, but Penasquito mine was the largest silver producing mine in the world, in the entire world. So that was just shut down based on those one severe drought, union demands, labor disputes, low pay, and demanding a pay increase and unsafe conditions. So that mine is going to be taken out of offline for a while until those conditions are met by the workers, the unions, and guess what's going to have to happen? They're going to have a profit, which means if they're going to keep on COMEX, whatever, is going to keep on doing their futures and their shorts and all this other stuff and keeping the price down, right? They're not going to basically make enough money, not only just to even give them the same pay they were getting before they shut down the mine, but they'll never get up to the amount if the price actually goes up because there's so much more supply, more demand than there is supply. So let's move on to the next factor. Remember, what's the live stream title tonight? Silver Sky's the Limit and new info regarding factors. These are major factors. If you got the number one silver producing mine in the world shutting down, and for a unknown amount of time, that's definitely going to affect it, especially when you're already having a $80 million ounce deficit a year, global deficit, and you've had that deficit for 5 years. Okay, so let me do this by hand. That's a $400 million deficit a year. And I believe that figure came up before this Penasquito mine shut down. Okay, what else is another major factor? Another major factor, new info regarding factors of more supply versus demand. Even more supply, even more demand versus lower supply in silver. In Peru, the second largest silver producing country in the region, in 5 regions in Peru, is being shut down. The mining in 5 regions in Peru is being shut down. Okay, as far as my understanding. Political destability protest and road blockades shutting down routes from the mines to processing centers. And it's basically dropped the production of the silver is down 8% a year. Over the last year, I guess. In Bolivia, the San Cristobal mine, one of the top 10 silver producing mines in the world, silver ore production dropped 15%. Okay. So we got now the world's largest silver mine in producing silver mine in the world just shut down. That's Penasquito mine in Mexico. And then you have in Peru, the world's second largest silver producing country, due to, I think it's 5 regions in Peru, political destability, protest, and road blockades shutting down routes from mines to processing centers. And they're experiencing an 8% drop of the year over the year based of that obstruction of getting the silver to the market or whatever to be processed. I mean, to the processing centers to get on the market. Okay, so in Bolivia again, the San Cristobal mine, one of the top 10 silver producing mines in the entire world. Their silver ore production dropped 15%. Now, that's a geological problem. That's not something you can go in there and fix. When you start running out of silver in the ore, it's basically there's nothing you can do. They're going to have to go in, and geologists or whatever top level geologists going to have to go in there and do some tests or whatever to see maybe there's a deeper level of hitting like some of that silver ore, and that's going to take a while. So the production has dropped 15%. So based on all the increased demand for silver and these major shutdowns of mines around the world and trying to get our own mines cranking up and working, what's going to have to happen before we start to reopen our own silver producing mines? Remember, silver is found with like copper, like you have to basically smelt the ore to basically extract out the silver from zinc, from lead, and there's I think a couple more that could be. I think maybe even gold could be along with silver. But to actually have a mine catered to basically just extract silver, it's not profitable enough. So they're extracting not only the silver, and I think there's some quality force work processes that they could do to maybe be more proficient at extracting the silver out of ore, and that process, like quality work processes, you know what I mean? Okay, look at see if there's any duplication anywhere, whatever, and things running at its, you know, top capacity to process the ore, whatever, and making sure they have the technology to help to get them on that road, right? So, what's going to have to happen for other mines to basically open up in the United States? The price is going to have to be enough where it's profitable enough to basically um, stay in business and pay your employees and pay all your expenses and all that kind of thing, right? So I'm going to, this is just these are all my opinions. Please fact check RH. The two people that might be listening to this live stream tonight, wow, they really, 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 really throttled this channel back. They're really shadow banning this country, this channel, shadow banning it, throttling it back, whatever term you want to use. This is ridiculous. And this is coming from a higher level person. This is a person that's basically, he's got his people out there they want to basically silence. This is one of the ways, right? To silence channels like this one. But anyways, it's ridiculous. So I guess you got to be a member of the old guard to get in, right? To have because there's really isn't much. Yeah, I don't have videos running, and you know, I don't have all these guests on my channel, on my live stream, on the panel, and all that stuff. I could probably get some, you know, but why should I go out there and pay for information when I get the information myself and I just provide it to y'all free of charge, right? As far as to become an affiliate, I guess you can't have any political opinions at all about the president. So even mention Trump, you know, they're going to get cold feet. Oh well, we can't, I didn't have, you know, I didn't have sex with that woman. Like we can't take the risk, Bill. You know, um, we can't get this guy on board. You know, I guarantee. Well, look at my record, dude, or dudettes. You can't even find a jaywalking infraction on my records. That doesn't mean anything to these people. It doesn't mean the quality of life that you've lived. You know, I didn't graduate at Berkeley. I didn't go to Yale. I wasn't part of the Skull and Bones people. Oh, good movie to go watch in case you're not up on the Skull and Bones and all the rumors attributed to that. Go check out the movie Skull and Bones with Paul. Watch the one with Paul Walker in it. Great actor, by the way. I hope he's in a protective custody. I want y'all to go check out, go do a research on protective custody. Yeah, I know. We saw the car and the explosion and everything else. The car just basically detonated. For some reason, they just drove right into a tree, right? Him and his friend that was driving, actually. And there were some things about Haiti discussed and, you know, people thinking that might attribute it to it. I don't know. But very sad. Man, I really love to watch Fast and Furious. And I'm not talking about Project Gunrunner and the lies. The guy that was censored, the wingman. Remember Barry's wingman? Remember all those lies? That's why they don't like this channel. Even with all that Havana syndrome crap y'all got out there, all that Havana syndrome, direct energy, whatever y'all do, when you want to basically scramble up somebody's brains so they forget their own name, forget simple words in the sentence, mid sentence, forgetting stuff. I never did that before. Never. It's not like I'm 150 years old or something either. You know, I got it to stop the ringing for only like about 5 seconds. Man, that felt so good. And I thought I was on to something. Thought I was on to something. I thought I was going to be able to have a cure, discovered a cure on my own to stop it, but you can't stop the projections. Once those projections are out there, you can't stop. You can't pull them back. You can stop them, but once they're out there, you can't pull it back anymore. One little slip at the dial or whatever. Oh, that was oh my bad. That was like 100 times more than what we're supposed to do. That's okay. Just don't let it happen again, Junior. Don't let it happen again, Junior. Oh, you're delusional, all right? You're a conspiracy theorist. There ain't nothing like that going on at all. Could you imagine working at an embassy in Cuba and you're basically vomiting, getting dizzy, having this ringing crap in your ear? You get really sick, bad sick, and they bring in cages of rats to see what effect rats have. Well, we're going to make sure you're not lying about this. We're gonna bring in some lab rats and we're going to see, okay, which one falls first? You humans over there in that corner or the rats in this cage over here? That's unbelievable, isn't it? Wow. You know, the main thing that they want to do, Trump, is permanently silence the man because he knew too much information and they knew it. He knew too much information. He knew too much information and they wanted to silence him. And they wanted to see what information he had obtained. They illegally searched Mar-a-Lago. Why isn't there any arrest on that right now? I don't care who you are. I don't know if you care your name's Pam Bondi or Cash Patel or whoever the new deputy FBI directors are now or associate directors, whatever. I don't care who you are. They set up a military assault operation authorizing the use of lethal force on the former president of the United States based on BS that they cooked up, probably in the same lab that they cooked up the other. I was just talking about Desperado. I guess Desperado, I never heard of it. It's a beer you can buy. It's got tequila. Now, I very rarely drink alcohol anymore. Last time I had alcohol was last July 4th. I had a few beers. Oh my gosh. RH, you're drinking that alcohol? Well, maybe I switched to sparkling wine. I heard it's good for your infirmities of the stomach. That's what it actually says in the Bible. Somebody fact check me. Somebody please provide me the scripture verse. Because when I go to another app or I go to another source reference, when I get distracted from watching my live stream, that's when they strike. Darth Vader. That's when he strikes, the Darth Vader. You know, That guy with the red leotards, the pitchfork, and the horns, you know, his days are numbered, right? It's already prophesied. It is written, let it be done. It's already written. No, all we got to do is remember and focus on being on the right team, right? Focus on being on the right team. Wow. It even switches from one ear to the other. That's pretty good. I never noticed that one before. They're just showing off now, right? Just showing off now. Well, we got a warrant and we can listen to everything he guy says. Yeah, they made a file on me, right? Refuse to take the information to deem whether that's credible or not. Oh, thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. You may come in and make a fake profile and may make it look like I'm back going crazy, right? So nobody would take my information. Oh, we've already looked in that guy's off his rocker, right? He believes in aliens. Yeah, the illegal ones. I don't know. When the aliens come down in their spaceships, whatever, they better come into our country legally, or we're going to deport them back to Alpha Centauri, wherever they came from. You know, got me. I think they're trying to make me look like the David Davidian dude. Remember that dude that was killed? And all those children, I think, were killed too. Got me stand up on, there was a lion on the wall, right? Stand in this awkward ass position where they can get my side of my face, whatever, next to the lion. That's crazy. What has that to do with taking the information to help protect the President of the United States? We're going to be watching you. And they got a warrant. They wanted me to sign a waiver to allow them to go question my private doctor. And I said, well, you know, I'm a veteran. You know, all that information's out there. It's, you know, I have a problem looking at my information, but I didn't sign it because I didn't want them to harass my damn doctor. He doing drugs? He doing drugs? Do you hear voices? Yeah, that's what they did to set up their profile, right? So they got a warrant. They got a warrant. They went without my permission, and they went through the Veterans Affairs Administration and got my medical records with or without my consent based on a fraudulent warrant that they cooked up. Making sure that I look like some crazy guy. Oh, I'm trying to go around Donald Trump's security team to what? To do what? To provide him information to help try to save his life. I already know who's involved in this stuff. I've done the research. That's why all this damn ear ringing and all this shit's going on in my ear. That's why they're trying to scramble my brains up. That's why they're throttling back this channel, so they don't hear me explain what they're doing to people like me and many probably more around the world. In our country. In our own country. And you know how I know they got my records? Because the VA told me. It was a matter of national security. They called it a matter of national security. Well, we're going to take his information and we're going to stop any type of breach of our security, and we're going to give ourselves a big old pat on the back. No, they don't care. And there's so many people bought, you don't know who to trust anymore. Listen, what do you think the GDP is for the EU? Do you think they wanted Donald Trump to be reelected the second time, or the first time? You think China, that had a $500 billion deficit with America, as far as trade goes, you think China wanted Donald Trump to be the president the first time? Why do you think they were working with countries like China to try to make sure that Trump never got elected? Don't worry, we got this. He was colluding with Russia, right? Because we are the ones out there, the honest people that are exposing them. And still not a damn thing has happened to any one of them. How many people more are going to have to die before y'all start doing your damn job? And leaving innocent people alone that just trying to survive life. Leave us the hell alone. See, the thing of it is you went in and you did a background check on me, but you didn't do the check very thorough enough to understand that I have a little bit of knowledge about preempting our live streams. So you play these stupid games, you preempt this channel, and you send in some robots, give me like, oh, well, it makes it look like we're not throttling back the channel. Let's get them over 5. Let's just stop at 500. That's what I looked at. It was like up at 514 subs. Let's play around with them. Wow, you're the intelligentsia, right? You're so damn smart. Did you hear Hillary Clinton at that liberal, whatever the heck it was, liberal strategies conference or whatever? Did you hear that idiot? You see what he's doing to our country? My gosh, it's unbelievable. Oh, we went a little bit too far with the illegal immigration into our country. Anybody that facilitated and directed that invasion, according to Article 4, Section 4, is the justification to arrest them right now because they are complicit in mass murder in our country. Based on fentanyl alone, the hundreds of thousands of deaths that occurred from January 20th of 2021 to January 20th of 2025. That's the honest truth. If you can't even arrest them, then you might as well just forget it. You might as well forget it. And again, going back to that raid of Mar-a-Lago, that's the most sickest thing I've ever seen in my life. I'll admit in the open. And this isn't going to basically get me to do anything that's against the law. I'm a law and order guy. I don't care what anybody else does. That's going to be their problem on Judgment Day, or maybe sooner. We don't have crooked judges. We don't have crooked lawyers. We don't have rigged juries and all the rest of the crooked ass stuff that's going on in our country right now. You see, this is the problem. They're raised in the secular education system that basically is antithetical to our Christian faith. They look at us like we're a bunch of nuts. Like there's not a spiritual word. Oh, they could go there. Oh, well, I'm an agnostic. I don't really believe in God per se, but I believe there's something greater out there. Did you ever stumble? Did you ever trip over your own foot and fall down on the grass and look at that sky, on a very clear sky with no light pollution around, and look up in that sky and go, my gosh, look at that sun there. Oh, that's right. It was the Big Bang. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. You got to have something to be with me. You got to be real. So, who did the banging? Is that ever come across your feeble little minds out there? You ones that out there attacking Christians and thinking we're crazy? Because we don't want you to go out there and murder little children? Well, we're compartmentalized. We could basically do whatever the hell we want to do. Yeah, that's right. It looks that way. Anything, and I mean anything, even going through Melania Trump's lingerie and her drawer, even going through her lingerie. What a joke, isn't it? Wow, you got that kind of power. Look at these, man. Look at these. And ordered to go there, authorized use of lethal force, and concealing weapons in your identity of who you are, whether you're the FBI or whoever. We don't have no idea who was part of that raid. I don't give a rat's behind if it's Jack Smith. Jack Smith's butt should be in prison right now. Look how quick they arrested Roger Stone. My gosh. And I think his wife is blind or deaf or something. They called up CNN, their buddies, right? Hey, you want a big story? How much of this is going to be worth to you? How much is a big story? You're going to have a big story. You can flood the zone and make millions of dollars from the advertisers. Okay, be here at this address at a certain time in the morning. There's going to be a huge raid on Roger Stone and his disabled wife. At Oh Dark 30, they had frogmen showed up. You can't make this stuff up. Roger Stone was no flight risk. How is he going to flee? Yeah, well, I saw on his records that Roger Stone, he could run a mile in 10 hours and 55 minutes. That's pretty darn quick, isn't it, RH? He's a flight risk. So we're going to have to do a raid on his home in the morning. He's not going to be cooperating. They gave more attention to Roger Stone and his handicapped wife than they did for USA Ma Laden, US Ama bin Laden. They gave more attention to Roger Stone and his handicapped wife than they did to USA Ma bin Laden. Remember Fox News, December 26th of 2001? They put out a special report. You can still Google it right now. Bin Laden already dead. The rumor was he was killed in a bombing raid in the mountains of Tora Bora. Oh, that's boring, right? Tora Bora boring. You know that commercial? 2 people watching. Well, it's 12:45 in the morning. RH. Well, it's only like what, 3 hours behind that. And where's all my friends in California, Washington State? Where's all my friends out west? It's kind of worrisome. I'm kind of hope I wasn't left behind. Man, thank you for your service. Do you know anybody locally that wants to kill the president? What? It's not what I called you guys to come here. I called you up about 3 or 4 weeks before that, and you didn't answer. You didn't return my call. I had to call back again. Oh, do you want to be interviewed? I wasn't interviewing for a job. I wanted to pass you information. So y'all do your damn job and look at the information to deem whether it's credible or not, to try to protect the life of the president, his family, and his associates. Anyone that travels with him. Second question, do you want to kill the president? What? I should have kicked their asses out of my home at that point right there. I was kind of like, what? Let me see where they're gonna go, how they're gonna go with this. And interrogate my neighbors. Refuse to take the information I had to pass on to them. You know, their playbook was the exact same playbook that they used on JFK. The exact same tactics, along with the psychological warfare operation and propaganda on top of it, taking over the entire operations. You know, you got to build trust first, right? You got to build trust. And then to get in your inner circle, they set things up. Wearing bugs. So, Mike Pence, were you wearing a bug? Anybody who wants to put himself above the Constitution should not be president, should not run for president again. I wonder who you're talking about, Mike Pence. In my opinion, in a perfect world, you're gonna have to be basically investigated, and very thoroughly. I remember when he was up there on the dais, a couple guys approached him and gave him a coin. What was that, a Bitcoin? You're doing a great service to our country, Mike Pence. Here's a Bitcoin for you. I don't know what kind of coin they gave him, but he looked at it and he just puts it in his pocket, right? I don't know. Let's see. What's so for RH? You know, we don't have time for this guy in games. Can't even apologize. Isn't that right, Patrick? You can't even apologize. You can't even apologize. I just moved in that neighborhood. Interrogating my neighbors. That's sick. So you don't mind getting information from a con, huh? How much money you give cons to basically create a story, a false fictitious story, and set up a fraudulent file, make it look like RH is a nutcase. Wow, the noise is starting to go away. Wow. Maybe compartmental guys aren't so compartmental like you think you are. So, man, I think, okay, so if gold is basically gets up to it's up at 5,000. Now, gold is basically the ratio of gold to silver is 5 to 1. When it's at 5,000, where should silver be now based on the demand? And you can't replace silver with anything else. If you think you can, that's easy, then why haven't they done it already? Ask yourself a question, Sherlock. Well, silver can't, it can be replaced. We can basically refine other types of metals, whatever, and it can have the same exact attributes as silver. Do you think these corporations, all these scientists working for these corporations and engineers and all that stuff, these top level officials, do you think that if they were aware of a cheaper, another path to use another type of metal, to have the same functionality as silver, you don't think they've already figured that out by now? What is another major factor about silver that nobody in the far as the economic world of economics, right? Um, what also does silver? What is silver used for? To treat wounds. Remember, I went through the White River in Arkansas, the Indian home, whatever. I went through and talked all about that in another live stream before. Remember the conquistadors? Remember Ponce de Leon and him going in? Remember St. Augustine and the Fountain of Youth? There's still a lot of people believe that the Fountain of Youth and St. Augustine is owned by a private, I think a private company. I've been there before. I tasted the water. It's got sulfur in it. And I know a place called Sulphur Springs in Florida where everybody go swimming in the Hillsborough River. It was like a what do you call that? One of those healing type places. I don't know, like a spa type thing, right? And people from around the country would come to Sulphur Springs to basically bathe or swim. Let's just say swim in the river because it has high contents of sulfur, and such the name Sulphur Springs. They had a huge water tower. I think they were actually selling jugs of water around the country. And that's why they had a water tower. You can still see that water tower to this day. It looks like a medieval type, Middle Ages, whatever type tower, like on a fortress, you know what I mean? So go check that out. That's actually still standing today. And it used to be, they used to also have a movie theater there. You can go in there and watch a outside movie theater. I don't know if that's still up or not, but it's true history, by the way. So what if you combine, I'm sure they've already tried it, but combine sulfur with metal, metal that's in the water. Silver that's in the water. So if silver is being used to treat wounds, okay, isn't that a big deal? Silver is required in medical equipment as well. And remember, the deficit, the supply versus demand, the supply is lacking, the demand. And once they put a platform, a base level where silver can't go down, where they don't, like China doesn't like to, China can't do what they tried to do with silver, right? See, if they keep on selling their silver at such a low rate, right, a low cost rate, and they're basically restricting the exports, they can drop the price. They can monopolize the price of silver and drop it so low that none of our silver mines will basically reactivate. And I do believe we have a mine right on our side of the border. I've been through there. I have to go back and look at my history books again. But in New Mexico, on the border with Mexico, I believe there's a mine that they could open back up these mines and basically being focused not on just zinc or whatever, but I guess you're gonna have to mine those out with silver. But if silver goes up to a high enough price, it might make it profitable enough for our mines to reopen. And remember, you can't compete with slave labor in countries like who I'm talking about, that basically floods our country with their cheap knockoff products and everything. I mean, it's ridiculous. And we have to protect our workers. We have to protect our mines, make sure they're safe. And you have to have quality mines and that kind of thing, and reopening our mines so we can basically protect our economic national sovereignty from these bad actors out there. We're going to have to basically, why aren't the mines lobbying? Are the corporations basically padding the pockets of these mine owners, and they're getting rich off the backs of American people? So in my opinion right now, let me go look. Let me see. Let me go check this right now. I'm not going to another app. I could switch to another app without taking down one app. And this was so the eastern side of the country, like China, all that, Tokyo, they're already open, I think, for the day, right? So silver dropped down to $74 an ounce. See, that's what they're trying to do. They're unloading the COMEX. Look, gold's dropped down below 5,000. The COMEX is trying to get the price of silver as low as they can so they can buy out that paper money, right? Paper silver. That's all it is, paper silver. So we knew they're going to do this, right? We knew they're going to do it. So the pressure, what is the platform? I thought, JD, I thought you guys are supposed to set a base for this that everybody can accept. You keep on dropping this down, you're feeding right into our adversary's hands. You're feeding right. You might as well say, let's just take all the bread and butter off the plates of all the people around the United States, right? Let's just give it to them. This is ridiculous. Or maybe the government's trying to buy positions. Yep. Well, don't freak out, people. Don't freak out. Just hold your ground. They're trying to shake loose some of these people that got positions. They want to buy their silver. And guess what? You're not going to be able to sell your silver or gold as that is, or as that is concerned. You're not going to be able to sell it at spot price. They're going to charge you a premium in reverse. So there's a what do you call it? There's a like a 20 there's like a $20 spread, if not more, with gold. With silver, there's like over a $20 spread, which means if you go to buy silver from an exchange from a verified source, right? They're going to charge you a premium to buy that. If you want to sell your metals to these exchanges, it's going to be like a $10 premium the other way or more. So you probably get, if you're lucky, if you got an ounce to sell of silver, right? Of course, I'm just using 1 ounce because it's easier to basically, the equation's easier. So let's say $75 an ounce, right? So if you're going to sell that silver, you're going to have to basically accept like 60 something dollars an ounce, like $64.89 an ounce. So this silver price right here, what you see, that's not the actual price as far as physical silver. That's paper silver, and trying to basically change their positions. And right, so if they want to sell those positions, they can probably shake out a lot of people that bought silver for like $16 an ounce and go, all right, we'll go ahead and sell it for, say, $65 an ounce. Give me $65 an ounce. We'll go ahead and sell it to you. See, they can play the long game because it's not their money. They can play that game all they want to, right? But who pays the price? The American people pay the price. Our workers, our miners. We pay the price while the rich keep getting richer. So what do you expect this is going to happen? See, this isn't 9:30 in the morning. I thought the market opened in the in the West in the US at 9 o'clock in the morning. No, if you wanted to buy online, for example, you can buy online. You can buy it on the exchange. That's just up to y'all if y'all want to. I got to get my survival needs in check first before I start thinking about metals. I need to get some long life food, right? Long life food. Need to get a couple other things. But I think it's just my opinion. So what is the gold dropped to $106.25. Silver dropped $2.46. But yeah, they're really manipulating this stuff. It's really crazy. Well, you know what they say, you gotta have money to make money. That's not a true, uh, proven. Well, RH, silver was only $50 an ounce only just a few weeks ago. It's been undervalued by probably 100 times, you know, for years now. So they've had a deficit of $80 million an ounce every year for the past 5 years, and the deficit's even getting wider because of what I talked about tonight. That means they've been undervaluing silver for a long, long, long time. Well, I don't like silver. It tarnishes, it turns black and everything. Well, those that need silver, the these industrial global corporations or US corporations, they don't seem to have a problem with it. So I guess there's no problem at all with silver. It's just up in people's heads, right? Gold, 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 gold gonna do this, gold gonna do that, right? Gold has done that. Could it go up to 20,000 an ounce? Well, how many of the little guys you think can afford gold at $20 an ounce? Let's see. I want $20,000 an ounce. I want 1,000ths of an ounce. 1,000ths of an ounce. 1,000ths of an ounce. What would that be? 1,000ths of an ounce of fine 0.999 silver. We're starting to get in fractions there, right? Wouldn't that be crazy if gold got up to 20,000 an ounce though? That would be crazy, right? So 20,000 an ounce. So 5-to-1 ratio of gold to silver would be what? $5,000 an ounce or 4,000 an ounce? $4,000 an ounce for silver, right? If gold got to, so they shouldn't even be tying gold to silver to begin with. Well, it's other than it being a precious metal. Gold has its own attributes, People love gold, and a lot of people, I think, in my opinion, more people love gold than silver as far as jewelry is concerned. I don't know if you got a lot of money, what you're doing with gold just sitting in your vault, whatever. I don't know. I mean, you got pretty much everything you need. Probably got your survival needs times a zillion, whatever. So you're not worried about that. I want to see this thing skyrocket because I think the sky's the limit. I think it's going to rocket up. And I think that's going to happen sooner than we think it's going to happen because these people are getting caught. And I don't know, they're probably going to get away with it because they've been getting away with it for so long, manipulating the market. That's kind of sick, right? Well, got 50 countries together. JD Vance talked to like 50 countries and they said they're going to put a platform where they can't go below. So did they touch that platform yet? So we're looking at the platform right now, but they're not going to limit the price of where it's going to go. And right now, $75 an ounce is not it's not lucrative enough to basically open back up our mines. So they keep on flooding the market with that cheap knockoff type silver and plated stuff. People going, wow, I got this silver 1,000 ounce bar. Yeah. If that story is true, 60 tons of counterfeit silver 1,000 ounce bars, even got all the markings, looks all official with a .999 engraving or whatever stamp in it and all that. Looks all, and the vendors were out there selling it on the street. That's crazy, right? And transitioning into the U.S. Treasury note. Yep. So it's getting kind of late. I provided the information, and I hope it works out for everyone, whatever you decide to do. And I don't think there's anything else I had left to talk about. But if it doesn't go the way, if you're investing any money into silver, remember, I'm not being paid for this. This is just my information I researched, and y'all check it out. And remember, they call silver a poor man's gold for a reason. Not a lot of us that had $4,900 for 1 ounce of gold. There's a lot of us didn't have $2,000 to buy you 1 ounce of gold. Who wants like a half an ounce, whatever? Well, all right, you could have lived within your means and bought, 1/8 of an ounce. Let's get fractional, 1/32 of an ounce, right? Maybe. Okay, and no, I thought gold was overpriced at $2,000 an ounce. So, anyways, so $4,902 an ounce for gold. For those people that bought it $2,000 an ounce, I hope it stays at at least 5,000. So that's probably going to skyrocket up at the opening, right? Opening of the market, whatever. It's probably going to skyrocket. I'm going to see what those people do. The COMEX does though. They're the ones that are deflating the price of silver. So, with that said, make sure you got enough money to pay all your bills and put food, water on the plates for your family, and make sure you got all the survival needs first before you start, in my opinion, start thinking about purchasing silver. But if you got the monies, you got some money set aside, and you want to get into it, hey, even if you just buy 1 ounce, you know what I mean? If that becomes worth $1,000 one day, hey, that's a nice little profit. So what's the premium now? Premium around that is around $9 an ounce. So $9 an ounce. So the real price of physical gold is still around 80 something dollars. 80 something dollars. And see what they're going to sell it to you. They're going to buy your gold for $10 under spot. They're going to sell you gold for about $9 or $10 over spot, right? So it's hovering around $75 an ounce right now, hovering around that, playing around, see if they can shake out any people. This is the last time you're going to sell. You see the price is dropping to 75. It's going to go down to 50. I don't care if it goes down to $1. You know, people are going to start to wake up. And I think they're going to, these huge players out there, they're going to have to start buying, in my opinion. So, with that said, good morning, good day, good evening, wherever you're from. This concludes the live stream. And remember, in God we trust. Everyone else, not God, we have to trust but verify. That even includes Yeshua. Somebody comes up and says, okay, I'm Yeshua. I'm the only begotten Son of God. I'm the Son of Man. Verify it. Verify it. Remember the person that's supposed to show up at the holy place and proclaim himself to be God? Verify it. Okay. In God we trust. Good morning, good day, good evening, wherever you're from. This concludes the live stream, and God bless. Thank you.